Jerome to throw it in. Poole gets free, catches, and the ball's knocked away. Picked up by Utah on the break. Beasley feeds in. Fontecchio with a jam. The Warriors are down by one. No timeouts. Ty Jerome throws it the length of the floor. Deflected. The ball game's over. The Warriors have lost this game.
What a call by Tim Roy. No, baby, the Warriors lose last night, 124 to 123. 4-point lead, 23 seconds left, and they lose. They fall to 2-11 on the road, the worst road record in the NBA. As I say, good morning to everybody out there getting off their graveyard shifts, strippers getting off of work, electricians, people getting to work, teachers, students, firefighters, cops, you name it. Longshoremen. And good morning to Anthony Slater. What's up, Shasky? What's wrong?
In the words of Willard and Dibbs, what are you doing? Not you, Bonte, the Warriors in the final 26 seconds.
I thought you were asking about the strippers. What are you doing?
Why are you inferring that?
What are you doing? Anthony Slater. Man, we're having a tough week, Slates. Garoppolo's done for the season. The Giants whiffed on Aaron Judge like we knew they would. We're still disappointed. And the Warriors lose that game last night.
I hate you.
I mean, I guess you had a rougher week because the Dolphins lost. I guess we could try to rub that in. I don't know.
I was hoping that all of what had happened would make you forget about that. Kind of, at least not bring it up. But no, I guess.
You know what? I don't even care to win no more. We got Brock Purdy, man.
Let's start happy. Was that the best game this year for Jonathan Kuminga?
Well, we were talking about his best game last week, right after that Dallas game, right? So. Probably, I would say, because to me, you had the defense. It wasn't probably as impressive defensively as the Dallas game where he was guarding Luka a bunch, but it was like he was good defensively. He made the biggest defensive player of the game, the one that should have sealed it on Clarkson, and he added really more like individual offense, the type of offense that makes you think like long term. Instead of just like a glue guy, he could be an all-star, and I'm not talking, soon, but I mean, that was like elite wing stuff. That was Pascal Siakam out there at times last night. It was 9 buckets at the rim, basically. Remember when he like just bumped Alexander Walker into the stanchion on a post up, dunked on him, flew in for a putback. He had one at the rim with like 2 minutes left, like driving kind of
the shovel layup.
Yeah, exactly that one. I think that was a big moment in the game. Yeah, to me, that was the best game where you're like, oh, man, like what could he become?
Yeah. To me, he's untouchable in any potential deal. I think you got to keep the young man. He's athletic. And I believe he could be your GP2 from last season. Playing a dunker spot on offense, simplifying the role for him, defensively picking up full court, 94 feet. He has become a weapon, and now he's getting in the heads of veterans. We saw him getting ahead a little bit with Luka, even though Luka dropped a 40-point triple-double. But yesterday, Jordan Clarkson scoring up on him at the end of the game there before getting tossed. I like his individual defense, Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, it makes veterans mad when, like, 20-year-olds stay with them defensively and really physically, too. I mean, that's the thing with Luka that I think bothered Luka in that game is, when you throw young players on him, Luka likes to just go, I'm going to take him down to the post. I'm going to body right through him. Like, that's Kuminga's strength. He can bump with guys that are 6'8" and strong. And then, Clarkson probably thinks he's going to get by him in that moment. He can't get by him either. I mean, the individual physical tools are top 10, in the league as far as like athleticism, in that body, lateral quickness, strength, I guess where you're, you mentioned Gary Payton a second. I mean, Gary Payton over time, over 10 years playing in the G League, all that, like learned how to play team defense, like really be an off-ball cutter. How many teams over the years did he have to be this like sneaky guy off the ball? Like he learned so many tricks that, aren't in Kuminga's bag at this point, but just from a, pure, I guess, athlete out there. I mean, it's insane some of the stuff he can do.
Is it me? I mean, I feel like Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb at moments early was like, yeah, you know what? These guys they're better than some of these other dudes, and they understand how to play. But the longer it's gone on, it feels like the sand is coming out of the hourglass, and I'm questioning why in a game like yesterday, where you're not playing all the big dogs, why they're getting so much run. It just doesn't make sense. I don't understand what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I get it with Lamb. I mean, Lamb, I think, has done a lot, like, in their rotation. He hasn't been great the last few games. The Jerome one, I know why Kurt did it. He's I don't know how many times he has to mention when he's playing Jordan Poole that he doesn't want Jordan Poole to be the primary point guard. He thinks that, complicates, Poole's mindset out there. And when he's trying to be a lead initiator, suddenly he's doing all the dancing and stuff. I think they like him being a scoring guard. Now, I think that's led to some bad personnel decisions at times. You can probably remember Nico Mannion. Remember when Poole came back?
Well aware.
Bubble. Yeah, he tried to play him with Brad Wanamaker early in his second year. I mean, the way they've tried to fit point guards next to him in the second unit has led to some rough moments. I thought the Ty Jerome transition 3 last night was
after the Moody dive. When Moody dives on the floor, makes a great play to get them a possession. Was it 3-on-2 and he just chucks it up? That was the sequence?
Yeah. Yeah, you had Kuminga kind of running on the far wing, and Moody was kind of coming behind the play. And if you just shovel it to Moody, he's probably got a layup. And, Ty Jerome goes like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and pulls up for a deep 3 and misses it badly, too. I mean, if he makes it, you're like, ooh, that probably wasn't a good shot, but wow,
right.
The fact that he missed it that bad, and he's a two-way player, it was not a good look. But again, he went to him because they wanted an extra point guard next to Jordan Poole. I don't agree with it, but that's the
right. Yeah, I didn't agree with the move either. I disagree with that one. I was shocked to see Ty Jerome in that starting lineup. Anthony Slater, our 95.7 The Game insider, does a great job covering the Golden State Warriors. They lose last night in Salt Lake City, 124-123. They've dropped to 13-13 on the season, the league worst. 2-11 on the road, and they host the Celtics on Saturday night. And they're going to be without Andrew Wiggins. Before we get to James Wiseman, what's the latest on Andrew Wiggins, Anthony?
Yeah, reevaluated Monday. I mean, adductor strain, essentially we're talking like groin strain, right? Mm-hmm. They initially listed it as tightness when he missed the first game, the Pacers game, and then now it has been, I guess, retermed as a strain, which is notable. He's already been ruled out for Saturday's game, which, that's trouble for the Warriors. You're facing Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who just, what did they beat the Suns last night by, like 35?
Yeah, they were up 40, Anthony, in the third quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think they think it's like a long, real long-term thing. But the fact that he's already basically been ruled out a week, we'll see going into the road trip. I mean, they play Giannis on Tuesday. I mean, this is not a good time to be missing Andrew Wiggins.
I know. I mean, Milwaukee Tuesday, Indiana again on Wednesday. We saw what Nembhard did to them without Andrew Wiggins. No ball pressure at the point of attack defensively. This road trip, and I'm looking at the schedule, Anthony, they'll be lucky to be 500 coming back for that Christmas Day game against Memphis. This is a daunting stretch for the Golden State Warriors, and not having Andrew Wiggins, it's hard to pinpoint and just circle a win right now.
For sure. And that's what makes last night's loss so, hurtful for them because, part of the reason they left Steph and Draymond back in the Bay Area to rest up was because of what is coming. And Steph and Draymond, particularly Steph, has looked a little fatigued. And if you could sneak that one out last night, then suddenly that Pacers loss, that was a rough one. That doesn't feel as bad. But yeah, you're heading into this stretch on a 2-game losing streak. You're facing the best offense in basketball Saturday. You're facing the best defense in basketball Tuesday. Then a back-to-back. Toronto's going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
Philly's going to be tough. Yeah. And then a back-to-back in New York and Brooklyn, and you're expecting on at least one or two of those back-to-backs some of the veterans not even playing. So, yeah, you're right. And then, like you said, come home for Christmas. Memphis, the team that's going to be absolutely, jolted for that game. So, this is, at 13-13, like you said, I mean, I think you'd be okay if you're sitting at like 18-18 at this point. You'd probably take that.
Not what are they going to do? What would you do with Wiseman? Because I feel like he played 4 or 5 minutes yesterday. I thought he was much better. And I don't want to glean too much from it, but like defensive spatial awareness was there. Made some nice seal-offs in terms of post-ups. Made a really nice offensive rebound. Like, I don't know what they do with him here. What would you do? Forget what they're going to do. What would you do with Wiseman here?
I think you look at that last night where I agree with you. Like, those are 5 good, solid minutes, like what you would want to see from him on a normal basis if you made him the backup center. But I think you look at that and go, he's growing in Santa Cruz. Like, that was a very productive 14 days for him. and I would send him back down there. And that is what I expect to happen, too. I'd get him a bunch more games, a bunch more practices. I would look at this JaMychal Green rotation spot, which isn't going that well, and maybe peg that long-term if Wiseman continues to grow. But he's mentioned it, Kerr mentioned it yesterday, like, to me, 5-10 minutes, even if he got the JaMychal Green rotation spot, 5 to 10 minutes is not as useful for him than 28 minutes in the G League away from the stress environment at this point. I think maybe February, March it could be. But, can you imagine if they're just like, you know what, nice 5 minutes, let's put you in the rotation against the Celtics, let's put you in the rotation against the Bucks, and then those 10 minutes are -9 and Giannis gets a dunk on him. Like that, to me, that's not what he needs right now. He needs to be, getting 30 and getting 24. And he had a 24 and 12 the other day. He had a really good fourth quarter in Santa Cruz. Like that is just more useful for his mindset and his growth. So I think you'll probably see him back down there.
Man, yeah. Unfortunately for him, he loved staying at the big-ass hotel yesterday, the big-ass soft bed. Now he's going back to possibly the Santa Cruz. We'll see what happens there. Anthony, before we get you out of here, when it comes to February, January, he's only playing 5 minutes. At some point, it feels like this marriage needs to be broken up, right? There needs to be a divorce. And I'm looking at a guy like Kelly Olynyk last night. I know a lot of people have brought up Jakob Poeltl and Miles Turner, but I'm looking at Kelly Olynyk saying, that's a guy I could get 15 minutes from. Pick and pop, physicals, good screen setter. I don't see it here with Wiseman at that point. If he could only play 5 minutes last night, I just don't see it, Anthony. I don't see it.
Hey, Olynyk even had to steal the game, right? He wrestled a Poole away from that ball late. And he is a physical player. Yeah, sure. That is certainly on the table. I think that moves will be explored in January, early February. Not even just Wiseman, but check his market.
Right.
The question is, what are you able to get for him? And knowing how much the franchise has committed to him, number 2 overall pick, you wonder how willing they would be to move him for a helpful backup big on an expiring contract. Because that's what Jakob Poeltl is. He's a soon-to-be free agent. He'd basically be 2.5 month rental for James Wiseman. I wonder whether the front office, the ownership group, who has invested that 2nd overall pick and so much time trying to develop him, rehab him, would be willing to do that. But yeah, would an Olynyk, would a Poeltl help them win the title more this season? Yes. So that might be worth it, but will they actually pull the trigger? I don't know. Yeah,
Kelly Olynyk signed through next season. He's got 12.8 coming on the books this year, and then 12 million next season. Anthony Slater here on 95.7 The Game, the Morning Roast. Anthony, get some rest, man. We'll see you Saturday at Chase Center when the Warriors host the Celtics in a finals rematch.
All right, fellas.
All right, Anthony.
See you, buddy.
Anthony Slater dropping some wisdom there. Don't forget